Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to go back to a previous statement by one of our colleagues, Governor Biggs. He said that Democrats have not tried to de-escalate the situation.
So this was supposed to be another routine hearing. And instead, Jared Moskowitz walked in and lit the whole place on fire.
You know, after the brutal murder of Charlie Kirk, which was domestic terrorism, okay, we tried to de-escalate. After the assassination attempt against the president, which was domestic terrorism, I was appointed to the task force to investigate that assassination attempt. We tried to de-escalate. After the anti-Semitic attack in Colorado, in which you put forward a resolution that included language about ICE's favorable role in that. 75 Democrats voted for that resolution, even though there was no reason to put that in there, but you did it to try to put us on the board. So this idea that that Democrats have said nothing, that we haven't tried to de-escalate, it's just not true. It's just not true. Now, it's not like you guys have any credibility on de-escalation. I mean, literally, we're not the ones who told tens of thousands of people to show up to the Capitol and run in here like a mob, and now you all tell people it never happened. You know, like, oh, that's not what the deal was. It's not like every day there isn't some sort of tweet that just escalates and escalates and escalates. And so, listen, I hope one day we could have a hearing on de-escalation. I would love to participate in a hearing on how we together de-escalate. But looking at one party and saying, you don't de-escalate, I mean, that's literally escalation. We can't have a serious dialogue on how we do bring down the temperature together. You know, I want to, you know, we heard about this domestic terrorism thing, right? Domestic terrorism. That was the first thing we heard. I have a question. This is the person who within minutes of the shooting, went on TV and called it domestic terrorism. What is she, hiding her face like her ICE agents now? She can't show her face either? By the way, is this what the $800 billion went to? Every day we see her after there's some new tragedy in Homeland, she's wearing a different outfit with a different hat. I mean, come on, guys, she looks ridiculous. She's not just an embarrassment to the country. She's an embarrassment to you and the president. Okay, she deserves to be removed from her job by the president, and if not impeached. Not just for her complete failures in Homeland, but her destruction of FEMA. She's not even running the department. You guys know this. You guys know she's not running Homeland. Your governors and you all, when you need your FEMA money, you don't call Noem, you call Corey. You know she's not running the place. She's a complete and utter embarrassment. By the way, every Homeland Secretary has come in front of this committee once a Congress. I'd like to know the date she's coming. When is she coming?
When is she coming?
When is she coming? By the way, do you know Pam Bondi has not come in front of this committee? Do you know she's the only secretary to not appear in front of a committee yet? When is she coming? What's the date on the calendar that she's coming? You know what? Let's make it easy. I want to make a motion to subpoena Pam Bondi.
Second.
To this committee.
Third, fourth, fifth.
How much are we going to...
The gentleman is not recognized for that motion. However, the chair will advise as to the Attorney General coming for, as they do routinely.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. But where is the Attorney General, the only secretary to not appear, okay, in front of a committee? The only one. We're into year 2 of this Congress, and we've not had the Attorney General in front of this committee. How much are we going to weaken Article 1 of the Constitution while you guys remain in power? I watch you twist yourself into pretzels trying to defend this, running away from previous statements, disagreeing with yourself, trying to defend the crap that's happening. And so I'll make a motion again to subpoena Pam Bondi in front of this committee.
Second.
Yes, third, fourth, fifth.
The chair will again admonish that the gentleman is not recognized for purpose of the motion. The chair will also inform all of us that the Attorney General had agreed to come and was going to be here in October. Unfortunately, we had a shutdown. However, this committee is in the process of scheduling a return. If there is not a shutdown later in January, I fully expect that she will be here.
Will she be here before or after we invade Greenland?
Well before, I would guess.
Okay.
And the gentleman yields back.
What started as a debate about de-escalation turned into a full-blown indictment of Kristi Noem's leadership, the collapse of FEMA oversight, and a Republican majority that talks about responsibility while actively running from it. Seriously, this wasn't a disagreement. This was Moskowitz destroying the entire premise of their argument in real time. What made this moment land the way it did wasn't just that Moskowitz was angry. Congress is full of angry speeches. We see performative outrage every single week. What made this different is that nothing he said could be easily dismissed. Republicans didn't rebut him with facts. They didn't correct the record. They didn't even seriously challenge the substance of what he laid out. Instead, they hid behind procedure, interruptions, and silence. And that silence matters. Because when Moskowitz says Kristi Noem isn't actually running DHS, nobody jumped up to contradict him. When he said governors don't call her for FEMA money, no one rushed to defend her leadership. When he pointed out she hasn't come before the committee like every other Homeland Security Secretary, there was no explanation, just avoidance. That tells you this isn't about partisan disagreement. It's about a vacuum of accountability. And here's the bigger picture people shouldn't miss. This isn't just about Kristi Noem. She's a symbol, a symptom, the face of a governing style that prioritizes optics over operations, loyalty over competence, and messaging over management. The constant photo ops. The tactical gear cosplay. The immediate rush to cable news before facts are known. That's not leadership in a crisis. That's branding. And when disasters hit, when communities need FEMA, when coordination actually matters, branding doesn't move resources. Instagram posts don't rebuild homes. Photo shoots don't save lives. Moskowitz knows that. That's why his criticism cut deeper than rhetoric. It came from someone who understands how emergency management is supposed to work and how badly it fails when leadership is hollow. Then there's the Pam Bondi piece, which somehow might be even more alarming. An attorney general who hasn't appeared before the committee in 2 years is not a scheduling issue. It's a constitutional issue. Oversight isn't optional. Article 1 isn't a suggestion. And when the majority party starts treating congressional review as an inconvenience instead of an obligation, that's when the system really starts to rot. Moskowitz wasn't exaggerating when he said he's watching Republicans twist themselves into pretzels. Because that's exactly what happens when a party wants power without responsibility. You end up defending the indefensible just to protect the team jersey. And the irony here is impossible to ignore. The same people who claim to care about law and order. The same people who demand accountability from everyone else. The same people who lecture constantly about the Constitution are the ones actively shielding cabinet officials from answering basic questions. That's not conservatism. That's not governance. That's institutional cowardice. And when Moskowitz joked about whether Pam Bondi would testify before or after we invade Greenland, it wasn't just a throwaway line. It was a warning wrapped in sarcasm. Because when accountability collapses, absurdity fills the gap. So yeah, this wasn't just a fiery committee exchange. It was a snapshot of where things are right now. A Congress that wants answers. An administration that doesn't want to give them. And a majority party more interested in protecting personalities than protecting the institutions they claim to revere. If de-escalation actually mattered, it would start with honesty. If accountability mattered, officials would show up. And if leadership mattered, it would look a lot less like cosplay and a lot more like competence. That's why this moment resonated, and that's why it shouldn't be forgotten. If you agree that cabinet officials should have to answer to Congress, hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Because the only thing more dangerous than escalation is silence when it matters most.